hot child in the city, hot child in the city, hot child in the city, hot child in the city.
It's time for a little fun, a few laughs, and a whole lot of truth.
And just a reminder, there is no editorial point of view here on any of these newscasts on MSNBC in the daytime.
The John James Show is on Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Hello. Good morning. Are we on?
Here on.
Yeah, apparently we are. Okay. Had to check that. Welcome. It's, was it Tuesday already? Whew. I'm a little bit of a daze. I'm a little dazed, a little confused this morning. Where's the light? Looks funny in here. Is it me? Am I losing my eyesight? Or what the heck? Is it dark? Looks a little dark. I don't know. Maybe it's just the camera. It's 18 past 9 o'clock on Legacy 1160 WSKW. I'm John James, and this is Freedom's Pep Rally. And we are, don't use the G word too much. G word. G word. Oh, yeah. I got an email yesterday. This is very funny. Dottie, one of our listeners, was tuned in when I was talking about the Google commands. Because if you have an Android, you know that there's a command that starts Google and it opens it up and Google wants to help you and all that. And I guess I kept saying the operative phrase and it kept setting her phone off. And she got stuck in like some sort of an endless loop and couldn't get out of it. That's what it is, Casey. It's the shirt is sucking up all the light. I'm wearing orange today. I'm wearing my orange Sportsman's Alliance of Maine hat and my hunting shirt because I'm meeting with Sam today, and it's hunting season. So we've got bird hunting season. We've got open archery season on deer. You can use a crossbow now. I guess for the first time. I've never been an archer. I've never been an archery hunter. It looks fun. It looks like something I would enjoy, but I never was interested enough in deer hunting. Really, I know that sounds weird being from Maine, right? But I was never interested enough in deer hunting to really even go firearms hunting for deer. I love bird hunting, partridge hunting, woodcock hunting. That is what I love to do. But anyway, so that's why the orange, the bright colors today. But I still think something's wrong with my eyeballs. I thought for a second maybe I had my sunglasses on. That's how dark it looked to me. So anyway, Donald Trump is out of Walter Reed Medical Center. Oh, my. Has this set off a firestorm? And, you know, there are some things, I'm going to be real honest with you here. Sometimes President Trump does things that I really don't know how to defend other than to say he's his own person. I hope that the things he does, because I know there are other people who feel like me. I've talked to him. I've talked to big time Donald Trump supporters. And you hear them on the radio. If you listen to other talk shows all the time, you hear people say, I don't understand why Donald Trump is doing this. Some of the things he does, like the whole thing with the mask yesterday. And I had no idea. He took the mask off. I didn't see anybody around him. Apparently, allegedly, there was a photographer right next to him. And not that you could tell that by the shot of him taking the mask off and saluting. You couldn't tell that because, I mean, a zoom camera lens will certainly do that. So maybe it was just an assumption on the part of the news media that he was close to a photographer. I don't know. That could be fake news. And then the report that he went into a room full of people without a mask. Again, I prove it. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the optics are not good. Does that change my opinion on President Trump? No, because we are literally at a crossroads. We are literally at a crossroads. Your other vote, a vote other than Donald Trump, is literally saying, okay, let's go. Let's hurry up and ruin the country. Let's destroy America. I mean, that's the difference, in my humble opinion. But sometimes I just wonder why. Why do that? And I know you probably do too at times. I don't think I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm not. I know I'm not alone, but I just don't know how many people think the way I do. I'd like to get some input on that. Whether you want to call, whether you want to text, whether you want to Facebook, it's fine. We're streaming right now. We got 9:23. We'll get into the meat of it here in just a few minutes. And I saw Rick Foss in here. Maybe we'll ask Rick what he thinks in just a little bit. He's running for Maine legislature. And I guess he was in with Mike Violet earlier this morning. I missed that. I was doing some serious show prep. But we'll get Rick on the air, and we'll talk to him and find out what he's thinking about this. Right now, let's take a look at history. As we do every morning, it is October the 6th, and this is the Associated Press.
October 6th, 1981. In Cairo, Islamic extremists assassinate Egypt's President Anwar Sadat while he reviews a military parade. Sadat, the first Arab leader to recognize Israel as part of a push for Mideast peace, was 62 years old. 1973, war erupts in the Mideast for the fourth time in a quarter century as Egypt and Syria attack Israel on the Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur. The fighting ends in a ceasefire weeks later, with Israel still in control of territory which it seized during the Six-Day War. 2004, in Washington, a report that undercuts a key rationale by the Bush administration for invading Iraq. Top U.S. Arms Inspector Charles Delfer finds no evidence that Saddam Hussein's regime had produced weapons of mass destruction after 1991. 1989.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Actress Bette Davis, star of Hollywood movies during the 1930s and 40s, dies in a northwestern suburb of France's capital, Paris. She was 81 years old. And 1927.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you ain't heard nothing.
Talking pictures arrive on the silver screen as The Jazz Singer premieres. The film, starring Al Jolson, features both silent and sound synchronized scenes. Today in history, October 6th, Ross Simpson, The Associated Press.
Good, don't cry.
Good morning. It's 9:26. John James and your pep rally for freedom. And we have good freedom-loving Maine soon-to-be representative. We're going to get out there and vote for you on November 3rd there, Rick Foss. How are you?
How you doing, John?
Awful good.
I'm doing fantastic.
Representing Winslow.
Nope.
No.
Just Waterville.
Just Waterville.
South side of Gilman Street down to the Sydney line and Oakland Town line to the Kennebec River.
Why do I keep messing that
I
up?
have no idea. Kathy Netto.
The
new Kathy Netto.
Yeah. The new improved.
Right. The Kathy Netto 2.0.
Okay, you're right.
Is taking care of Winslow for us. So she's doing
all right.
Out there doing a great job. Good message. So anybody listening in Winslow, Kathy's the one you want.
Now, who's Kathy running against? Just out of curiosity.
Ray Karen. city town councilor in Winslow. My recollection being right or not.
Oh, so somebody was term limited out?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't have
okay.
an answer to that. I know he was on either was or is on town council for Winslow.
Perfect.
So he's running against her.
All right.
Yep.
Soon to be representative for District
109.
109. I knew it.
I got you. I
was
got
going
you.
to say that. I was going to say that, and I thought, no, I'll get it wrong.
That's all right.
Okay, so Rick Foss is here with us. I'll show you Rick Foss here. We got to get the camera on. There he is.
Hey, how we doing, everybody?
There's the man right there. So unfortunately, I haven't put the long cord on the camera, so I'm just going to set it right there.
There we go.
If anybody requests to see more of you, I certainly will oblige. Now, I had the minute I came on and I want to talk, I've talked to a lot of people about Donald Trump. How some things it's really hard to defend him. Do you notice this?
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one.
Yeah. No, you're not the only one. I mean, I like Mr. Trump, or should I say the president. He does what he says he's going to do.
He does.
Now,
he does.
Could he tone down the Twitter feeds? Absolutely. In this day and age, I mean, that's, unfortunately, that's the political atmosphere, and it's coming from both sides. Oh, it's not just one side.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
This started back in the Obama days.
Yeah.
This is really where it started. And, but I voted for Trump the first time. I'm going to vote for Trump again.
Absolutely.
He does what he says he's going to do. And that's what I like. I can mute out what he says on Twitter and all that stuff. But, I want somebody in there that's going to do the job they say they're going to and hold to their promises.
Absolutely.
That's my philosophy. If I make a promise, I'm going to keep it. My
worry is, and maybe it's just an unfounded fear, but my worry is that with things like with the mainstream media is so quick to pick up on every little bit of minutia.
Look,
the mask thing yesterday, the mask took his mask off, went in, and they say he was right next to a photographer who I didn't see, so who knows?
Yep.
And they said he went into a room full of people without the mask after he pocketed the mask. Again, haven't seen it. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But the optics bother me. I mean, for somebody who's maybe a little bit more objective than far left or far right, if you can be too far right, I think you can be way far left. I don't agree with a lot of the far right stuff either, but I certainly side with them a lot more. But are these kind of optics going to hurt his chances? I mean, we're at a point where I'm so fearful because we really have no choice if we want to save the country. But is he making it harder?
No.
Okay.
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay.
The support's there. It's solid. Now, the liberal left, and I do mean the liberal left. I don't mean the JFK Dem. I mean the liberal left.
Absolutely.
That runs the media, okay, is keeping that fear factor alive with this mask mandate, the talking of the mask over and over and over again. Look, we all have our individual rights. And those shouldn't be taken away from us. Nothing in the Constitution says, by the way, if there's a pandemic, you get to you lose all these rights.
Right. Correct.
And that's we've got to calm this all down. Let's look at the science. Let's look at the facts. And the facts are that he was in Walter Reed for 4 days, and I remember he was sitting at one of the tables there talking about his homeopathic regiment that he was on. What does that look like? Is that a new way to battle COVID? Who knows? But every time, and that's kind of why I didn't campaign at the doors, because unfortunately, I'm a 30-year smoker. Am I proud of that? No, I'm not. But I make it about 3 minutes in a mask, and I'm having breathing problems.
Right.
That's I don't. Anybody that is a smoker knows that they can't be in a mask very long.
Right.
Am I proud of that fact? No, I'm not. But that's why I didn't go door to door, because I know that I'm going to get lit up saying,
but for not wearing a mask.
For not wearing a mask.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not because I don't. I just can't.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, they're taking it to Trump about that too.
Yeah. Now there's so much that's not known. The media is so quick to pounce, though.
Right.
I mean, you had Chris Cuomo on CNN last night excoriating Donald Trump for killing people.
Yeah, I think
literally killing people.
This mask thing came out 3 months into the pandemic. 3 months went by before. Oh, let's put the mask on. Why? That's a little late in the game, don't you think? You know. And then, is it the mask or is it 6 feet? Is it both? You know, there's every variable there. And I've been asked, why aren't you wearing a mask? Because I'm 6 feet apart from you.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, you still need a mask. Okay, tell me why. Educate me. I'm all ears. I am all ears. I just don't. They're going to pick on Trump. Could be pro-mask, and they'd still beat on him, I think.
Oh, they'd find another reason.
Yep.
They absolutely would. Okay, good. You've allayed my fears a little bit because I've been. Sometimes it just seems so hard to defend Donald Trump, but I know there's no other choice. We have no other choice. That's why I'm so fearful.
His record speaks for himself.
It does, but they don't see his record.
They don't see it.
No, and they make things up, and they make his record completely opposite of what it is. The media is complicit in the ruination of our democratic republic, and it's sad and it's scary, and they take every little morsel of fear that they can find, that they can conjure up, and they scare people with it. And this is what they're doing to the Democratic base. They are scaring them. And
I had a great conversation with somebody, and they said, "Well, he's taking away your right." Okay, what right?
Right.
Well, it's an amendment. Okay, what amendment?
What amendment? Right.
Pick
correct.
Which one is it? Let's educate it, because if he's truly doing it, then I'll jump up and down. Okay. But let's have some facts here. Let's swap some facts here. And they can't do it.
No.
Stop. Stop.
No.
We are losing. We're losing America, and that should be our number one priority. Okay. Stop beating each other up. Okay. We need to get back to the times when we actually sat in a room, disagreed, came out shaking hands. That's how we bring America back.
I don't know if that's possible on the other side.
I don't know.
I really don't. I mean, they are so enraged. And rage blinds you.
And the other side being liberals, not the old school Dems. The old school Dems will still sit down and have a talk with you.
Absolutely,
they may not like what you have to say.
Right.
But they're not gonna string you up on the flagpole.
No.
You know, it's just not. I don't get it.
I don't. That's the thing.
We're of that old era.
We are,
where we sit in a room and hash stuff out and be done with it.
Absolutely. And you can admit when the other side does something good.
Yep. And I've said it about both. And the right side, the hard right side, way out there. Yeah, I don't agree with half of what they're saying.
Right.
I will understand it better than the far left, but we both have parties out there, groups out there on the far fringes that we're never going to understand.
We won't.
Nope.
And unfortunately, as you know, the left is the more dangerous.
Yes.
And they paint what they do as righteous.
Yep. Yeah, burning down cities and rioting like this is not the way to do it.
Right.
We have a rally at Walter Reed. Not one trash can was tipped over. I don't even think a napkin hit the ground.
Right.
It's
correct.
That's just how we do it.
Yep.
That's what America. You can peaceably protest all day long. Peaceably is the key word.
It is the key word. And going back to Chris Cuomo again, he's the one that said, who said riots, who said protests need to be peaceful. Well, he said, show me where it says protests have to be peaceful. And I thought, really? Are you really saying that, Chris Cuomo? First Amendment. Hello.
First Amendment. You could probably read that and see it right there. Peaceably.
Peaceably is the key word. And they're talking to people who don't know the Constitution from their, what.
Right.
So they take what the news says. The news, I say news in quotes, they take it as gospel. And therein lies the danger right now in our media-driven society and social media.
And another part of that is we've got to bring, I'm going to start pounding on this, is bring cursive back into schools.
Oh, thank you.
Period.
Yeah.
Because the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is written in cursive.
Yeah.
And I read a little study where they handed the Bill of Rights and the Constitution to two kids, one that knew cursive, one that didn't. The one with cursive could read it.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think
yeah.
about that in 20 years.
Right.
30 years. Basically, all you're going to be able to do is just run it through the shredder, and that's it, because nobody can read it.
Nobody can read it. Nobody will get it.
Teach cursive. Make it mandatory.
Yeah.
Make it mandatory.
They'd rather teach there are 100 genders, and global warming is going to kill us. In fact, I don't know if you saw this. The Sentinel, the KJ, came out with, we've got to act now on global warming. So in 2 days, I've seen in our local newspapers, number one, we think Joe Biden needs to be the next president. And this morning, we have to act on climate change now.
Portland Press Herald coming out with their endorsement for Biden.
Yeah.
Absolutely put him in the Democratic Party.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The media needs to be unbiased.
They can't be.
You can't endorse one part or the other. You know, Mike Violet asked me this morning at the local level, who am I speaking about in the mayor race up there? I'm not speaking about neither one of them.
Mm.
Okay, I know who I'm voting for,
right? But
I'm not speaking about either one of them.
Mm.
You know, is there one that I think is going to do a better job of running the city? Absolutely. Is there one that's probably not going to do so well at the city? Absolutely. But that's for me. The paper should be the same.
Yeah.
Here are the facts.
Right.
Here are the facts of the other candidate.
They don't like people to think for themselves.
I don't. I saw that and I cringed.
Yeah.
It firmly puts the media in one political party.
Well, it's like academia.
Yeah.
They don't give you a scenario and say, be objective. What do you think about this?
Right.
They tell you what to think. We have a couple of examples coming up on that later on this morning. We had two in Maine yesterday, one at Massabesic High School and one at another Central Maine school.
Yep. Yeah. They all wanted to, all the kids supported Trump.
Right.
And the teacher went off.
Went right off. And
you know what that was? That was a great opportunity for that teacher to actually do a constructive debate.
Of course.
And be objective.
Of course.
And figure out, tell her side of why she's supporting Biden. Let the kids tell their side of why they're supporting Trump, and be peaceful about it.
Right. Perfect
Opportunity to further that generation back into the room that we just talked about. Being able to come together and saying, okay, here's my problems, here's your problems. How do we get to where we need to be? Right. I've blown away by that.
Well, from what I understand, nobody asked the teacher who she was voting for. Yeah. So that said, shouldn't she be as apolitical as she can be, so the kids don't know?
Those are our tax dollars paying those salaries. Those kids should come out of that school not knowing where their teacher's political alliance lays. You can have your political alliance, but you're teaching kids. If you can't, then have that debate and teach them kids how to have an open and honest debate.
And be happy have some civic engagement.
Right.
At 11 years old. How about that?
Yeah.
You know?
A formidable age.
Yeah.
A perfect time.
Absolutely.
Perfect time.
Rick Foss, our guest, he's running for District 109, representing part of Waterville on November 3rd. We've got to take a break here. We'll be back with more. Stick around. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Feeling cooped up? Tired of looking at the same old stuff day after day? Now that we can finally get out and do a little shopping, why not head over to Town Line Antiques? At Town Line Antiques, there's 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. They've got vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and a lot more. Get away from it all with a look to the past. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Millionaire Sarah Gideon's tax hike would increase the price of gas and home heating oil in Maine by 40 cents a gallon. To regular Mainers, that would really hurt. Here's Dawn from Booth Bay.
The last thing I need right now is higher fuel bills. We're having a hard time as it is now. It would affect my family. Certainly would affect my friends because we're not wealthy people. With the economy, it's really bad for a lot of people here. I don't know how I would make it through. Maybe I'll have to close my house up. Sarah Gideon is a millionaire. She doesn't know what it's like to be cold and miserable. I don't feel like she's very sincere in what she says. Sarah Gideon has done nothing at all to help us. Nothing.
Say no to Sarah Gideon. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
And our next item up for bid is...
Does it ever feel like Washington, D.C. is turned into one big auction?
We'll be starting the bidding at $400,000.
Senators and congressmen working more for the special interests than the people who sent them there.
At $500,000 now.
Take Susan Collins. She's taken over $400,000 from pharmaceutical companies and voted to delay generic medication coming to the market, costing Mainers millions.
Thank you for the bid. $1 million. Can I get $1 million?
She's taken $1.2 million from insurance companies and voted 7 times to allow them to discriminate against people with pre-existing conditions.
Can I get $2 million? $2 million.
In total, Susan Collins has taken $6 million from corporate PACs, more than anyone in Maine's history. No wonder she voted to give corporations and the wealthy a $2 trillion tax break. Susan Collins.
Sold.
She's not for you anymore.
I'm Sarah Gideon, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sarah Gideon from Maine.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You wanna get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust, and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Cloudy with areas of fog this morning, then developing sun. It will be brightest and warmest away from the coast. Low 70s at the coast, mid 70s to near 80 degrees further inland. Rain moves in tonight into tomorrow. It will also be windy, clearing during the afternoon. Highs in the low 70s, mostly sunny, less humid for Thursday.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, welcome back. It's 9:45. And thank you for the AM Signal Week in Moscow this morning. President Trump, what he has to do, keep driving the train and message forward. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like I was telling Rick Foss here a few minutes ago, my worry is not for me because I know how I'm going to vote. I know what I think, and I understand what the consequences of not voting that way are. But I fear there are enough people who are still movable. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know how many are, if any.
I think your independents are in that arena.
Yeah.
And those are always an in-play group of people that are intently listening to both sides.
Yeah.
So those are the people that you tend to look at and say, okay, how's that going to go? You really can't tell until the votes come in.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And we hope that the optics of anything President Trump does that tend to make people think that, we certainly can't have this. We'll think of the option. Right. What is the other option?
Yep.
It is a drive down socialism road. It's like the road. You're going down a straight road. You've got a left road and a right road. The left road, it looks good. I mean, you've got trees and flowers, and it's beautiful. Beautiful. The road on the right looks okay.
Looks like a backcountry road.
It looks like a
to vote for opposed efforts to have Colby College contribute more in property taxes to the city.
No, but I wish I did before I voted.
Don't be like Jimmy. For years, local Democratic candidates have run a vote mining scheme on Colby campus to get elected. They're counting your uneducated vote. This year, before selecting your local candidates, please take the time to do your homework. Waterville residents deserve your educated vote. I'm Mark Andre, unenrolled for State House, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mark Andre for State House.
The Alfond Youth and Community Center invites you to test your cornhole skills in their unified tournament Friday, October 9th, beginning at 5 p.m. It's all going down under the lights at Wrigley Field in Waterville, with big fun and big money on the line, including $100 for the third place finisher, $250 for second, and $500 for the championship team, plus a special prize for the best team uniform. All proceeds from the unified tournament benefit the AYCC's Unified Champion Club. For more information, visit clubaycc.org.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Andrew Dimbert. President Trump, out of Walter Reed and back at the White House, says he wants to begin campaigning again soon. ABC's Karen Travers has more on what the president said last night.
President Trump, in a video posted on Twitter Monday, said Americans should not be afraid of COVID-19 because the U.S. has the best medical equipment and medicines. But the president is not an average patient. His physician, Dr. Sean Conley, on Monday at Walter Reed, emphasized the quality of care the president received there and will continue to receive now that he's back at the White House.
24/7 world-class medical care surrounding him down there. We're not going to miss anything that we would caught up here.
As to the president's long-term diagnosis, ABC chief medical correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton says he'll need to be monitored closely.
This is a disease that has to be tracked in weeks and months, not only days. So there are a lot of questions clinically that we still don't know.
This is ABC News. Hurricane Delta getting stronger fast in the Gulf of Mexico. It's bordering on a Category 3 storm and headed first for Mexico tonight. And then forecasters think it'll hit the U.S. coast later this week. In Europe, at least 9 people have been killed by flooding set off by violent storms.
Italian rescuers search for survivors as so-called Storm Alex led to flooding that swept away roads, bridges, and parts of houses in northern Italy and southern France. The heavy rain and fierce winds lashed the border between France and Italy and have caused millions of dollars in damage. 5 bodies were found on the shores of Italy that authorities say could have been carried downstream from France. Officials in one town in the Piedmont region of northern Italy reported almost 25 inches of rain in just one day, more than half its annual rainfall. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
3 scientists sharing this year's Nobel Prize for Physics. American Andrea Ghez, German Reinhard Genzel, and Brit Roger Penrose all being honored for their work on understanding black holes. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, you know, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Introducing Canada Dry Bold Ginger. It's not your grandma's ginger ale. I know because I'm not your grandma. I don't pressure you to get married. I say play the field all you want. And I drink new Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that would blow the bingo cards out your grandma's bag. I drink it while watching backyard wrestling. There's more on the line when the wrestlers don't have insurance. New Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
It's time for the truth, and you found the home of it right here.
My name is Ted Nugent, and these are my rules of engagement. Trample the weak, hurdle the dead, destroy evil, win the damn war. Quick, identify the threat to America and destroy it.
Here's your truth-telling, freedom-loving, flag-waving host, John James.
Gotta love Uncle Ted, huh, Rex?
I love Uncle Ted.
Man.
Straight truth, just unfiltered, and that's just how it is.
That's absolutely true.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have him back on sometime. Hopefully soon.
Giddy up.
It's John James and Rick Foss here, running for District 109, the Maine House of Representatives.
You got it.
And we are talking about freedom. We're talking about truth. We're talking about what we need to do next month.
Vote Republican.
Need to. Need to.
I won't say that. You know, we've all got we've all got our differences, and that's okay. But you know, if the true hard left gets in control, we're going to be in a world.
I don't understand what there isn't to get about that. I mean, why don't people get it? Or do they want? I know a lot of the millennials, a lot of younger people, not all, want to try socialism. What's wrong with socialism? They have it in wherever,
Venezuela.
Norway, via Venezuela. That's exactly what Ted Nugent pointed out.
You know what? Take a field trip down to Venezuela and see how socialism's working out down there. You will walk away from you'll run away from socialism after that.
Cuba.
But they've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
They've been told these lies just a little bit. Not all, years and years, just little snippets here and there.
Yeah. Utopia. Utopia is just an election away. You want everything. You want health care. You want free college. You want free housing. You want free internet. You want no border walls.
I remember.
Just vote for us. And one world. Oh my God. In one world, it'll be great. No.
My dad at 13 said, "You want something, you go work for it."
Right.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I went sat mowing lawns at 13.
Yeah.
I haven't missed a job since I got out of the Navy. I couldn't get a job for about 3 weeks, and I've worked for everything I've got.
There you go. I've worked since I was 15 or 16.
If you want it, go get it.
Yeah.
Mowed lawns, picked up apples, you name it, I've done it.
And I feel guilty if I don't go to work because I'm sick.
Yep.
I feel, and there are people that look for ways to get out of working, look for handouts, and those are the people who don't care a lick about freedom until they lose it.
Until it affects them directly.
Right.
Then they're like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah.
We've been trying to tell you that all along.
Yeah.
You weren't listening. You thought that it was just propaganda. It's not. You gotta go to work. And I tell anybody that I'm interviewing for, or even while I'm there, I'll never call out sick unless I'm blowing 104 temperature.
Right.
It's just how I am.
Yeah.
I show up for work every day. That's just what it is.
That's how we roll.
That's how you get this. I don't want free handouts.
Right. Well, people, and this gets me too. People on the left are so quick to call out rich folks, billionaires. Oh, there shouldn't be any. You've heard this. There shouldn't be billionaires in America. Well, these people, they gave up family. They gave up everything, life's luxuries, and life's biggest luxury, face it, is family and people who love you. They've given that up to make themselves a huge success. They've lost a lot along the way by giving that up, and now they are making it possible for hundreds, maybe thousands of families to have a living wage.
Yep, absolutely. They work their tails off.
They did.
They're smart. They're driven. I know that type of mindset. They are driven, and that's what they think about. Like me in politics, they think about business moves every day, and they're successful at it. I'm not going to. Why would I? They're successful, and people are jealous of that.
That's what it is.
Go work.
It's
go
jealousy.
Work hard at it.
They want to be what these billionaires are because they think they're entitled to it. And the entitlement generation, I'm sorry, I have no time, no will, no desire to talk to any of them.
Started with participation trophies.
Absolutely. Amen to that, brother.
Just saying.
Good morning. You're on with John and Rick. How are you? Are you there? Apparently didn't get to it quick enough. That happens from time to time. Hey, listen, we've got some academia stuff to talk about this morning. Rick, you got a few minutes to listen to this?
I do.
Let's go over this. I couldn't believe either one of these. Now, yesterday, I was talking about the student in Massabesic, goes to Massabesic High School doing a distance learning thing, who was shut out of class because of a Trump flag hanging on her bedroom wall.
Right. First Amendment comes to mind.
Hello.
That's where it starts.
Then there was the girl in somewhere in Central, I don't know where, but I know her mother. And the teacher, as you know, asked, who do you support? They watched, good for the teacher. They watched some of the debate.
Yep.
They watched a little bit of the debate. I guess they had it on DVR or something, and they watched a little of the debate. And the kids were asked, who do you like? And all the kids apparently, allegedly said Donald Trump. And the teacher threw a fit and went down all the reasons why Joe Biden was the one.
So that take like 32 seconds.
Without.
Sorry, I said that out loud.
Well, unless you make stuff up.
Well, you know,
you can make plenty of stuff up.
Both instances were a great opportunity to teach the youth how to have an open and honest debate and respect each other's opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, I just joked about Biden, but you know what? Let's have some honest dialogue and be respectful of each other's opinions. Perfect opportunity. As a teacher, you should be doing that.
And they aren't. A lot of now. I'm not throwing all the teachers under the bus. There are some great teachers.
There are some awesome teachers.
There are some great teachers.
Yep.
I would dare say most are.
Yeah, but
the ones we hear about, not so much.
Not so much.
Now, this is a UMass professor. Her name is Esther Shapiro, unhinged associate professor of psychology at the College of Liberal Arts at the University of Mass. Now, she was caught on video attacking President Trump as a Nazi and a child molester. When one student bravely disagreed, her name was Mary, she disagreed with Donald Trump being called a Nazi. The professor went full-blown trigger mode. She did not budge on the claim that Trump is a Nazi. Now, this happened just a couple of weeks ago, September 29th. The Gateway Pundit reached out to the abused student who was shamed and humiliated by this professor. Her name is Mary. As I said, she gave Conservative Fighters website this exclusive on her reaction to the abusive event. She said, quote, "I am very disgusted and very hurt by this action, and I believe college students deserve better, and we need education reform in this country. Amen." She also told the Gateway Pundit that she filed a complaint against her professor with the dean, but not surprisingly, the dean has not emailed her back. Now, here's some of what Mary recorded in the online Zoom class as Professor Shapiro hurled accusations at Republicans and Trump specifically, presenting them as fact. Now, she's talking about an event here that she attended at Brandeis University regarding the Holocaust. And here is the professor. And you will hear Mary come in toward the end. This is about a 2.5-minute piece.
This was an event to speak to what do we need to know about our histories. And all of us there, the writers, the discussants, the scholars, the survivors, we thought this would never happen again. We thought we were never going to see fascism of the Nazi Germany sort ever again. We now have children on the border in cages. We have the criminalization of immigrants. We have a criminal who's a president and who's going down in flames. Don't think he's not. We have the Republican militias with armbands preparing to go to the polling booths.
What?
They are preparing for election suppression, for voter suppression.
What?
The minute a Republican majority had appointed most of the judges, they removed, I can't look at the chats. I have cognitive processing issues. The minute the Supreme Court was challenged to say, do we still have voter suppression in the United States? They said no with no evidence. And we now have the problem of having to go county by county, state by state, to address the manipulation of the vote. The only Republican strategy right now. And look, I didn't used to say Republican Democrat, but now that we have Nazis, we got to do it.
I don't think Donald Trump's a Nazi.
Okay. All right. Great, Mary. This is not the debate I'd like to have. You asked me a question.
Right.
And let's have this offline, okay? I've got to be done with Mary.
No, but
I'm very glad to share the resources I have.
Shut her down.
To
Shut her down.
All right, so maybe he's not a Nazi. Maybe he's just a fraud and a criminal.
Can I just say something, please? It's about the children at the border. Are you aware of how many children are trafficked into this country?
Oh, Mary. Of course I am.
Because I think that's a really big human rights issue that no one speaks about.
And so, Mary, you would like us to talk about trafficked children? All right. Let's do it some other time.
Academia, baby. There you go, Professor Shapiro. How condescending, how idiotic, how much of a First Amendment denier of other people's First Amendment rights can you possibly be?
Wow.
Is that something?
Wow.
But wait, there's more. There's more. And I'm going to add an addendum to this after we hear this. She also said Donald Trump bragged about having sex with his daughter, Ivanka. Listen.
Trafficking is an abomination, Mary. As is a president who is willing to talk in public about having sex with his daughter. Just saying.
All right. Here's a little background on that. In July 2015, a rumor started circulating via social media that Donald Trump had once said he'd like to date Ivanka, his daughter, from his 1977-92 marriage to Ivana Trump. Now, according to a report published by USA Today, Trump made the comment during a 2006 appearance on the daytime TV show The View. Boy, that's been around longer than I thought. Discussing the possibility of Ivanka's posing for Playboy magazine. It would be really disappointing, he said. Not really, but it will depend on what's inside the magazine. I don't think Ivanka would do that, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. While the USA Today article noted Trump's comment drew laughs from the crowd, Trump's representative nonetheless felt the need to issue a statement after the episode, making absolutely sure people knew Donald Trump was joking, making fun of himself for his tendency to date younger women. And it's something we see all the time. He did not brag about having sex with his daughter, Ivanka, but and these are teachers. These are telling kids what it is. The kids trust these people to give them truth and knowledge. This is not knowledge.
And then when you want the knowledge and the truth, they have to take it offline.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying. Why do you have to take it offline? Why can't we have that open and honest debate right here, right now? Because if you're gonna call out somebody like that, call them out with facts. Call them out with truth, the full facts, not just a little 5-word sentence. Bring the whole thing out. Let's have that open and honest debate. Another opportunity of another professor that could have absolutely had a great interchange. Still believed in what she believed in, but still respected what the student believed in.
Is that not horrendous? Was that not Mary?
Mary.
Can't
wrap my head around that.
Unbelievable.
Can't wrap my head around that at all.
I would drop out of that school tomorrow.
I have plenty of disagreements with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Still respect them.
Oh, I do too.
Still respect them.
Yeah.
You want to have that conversation? Let's have that conversation. You may not like what I have to say, but you're going to hear it.
Right.
Be prepared for it. But if you're not going to open out, if you want to crack that door open that thing all the way up, and let's have a conversation full of facts and truth. Don't take out the 5-word sentence that you want.
But
there's more to it.
Today's social media trolls, if they don't like what you have to say, rather than engage, they block you.
Yeah.
Yeah. One and done. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Then there's a 10-year-old. You've heard about this one?
Gotta give me
10-year-old kid. Friday, after the diagnosis of Donald Trump's coronavirus had been made public,
mm-hmm.
10-year-old kid in Tacoma, Washington, made the mistake of answering his teacher's question about who do you admire most? 10-year-old kid. Who do you admire? The teacher asked the students on the Zoom class, who do you admire most?
Yeah.
What do you think the kid said?
Trump.
Donald J. Trump. He said, Donald J. Trump. Brendan Stanton is the teacher, a middle school teacher at P.G. Keithley Middle School in Tacoma. Ask the students to reply in an online chat room, who is the person you admire most? And Elsie Cusander's son said, I admire Donald J. Trump, because this is a 10-year-old kid, because he is making America great again, and because he is the best president the United States of America could ever have. And he built the wall so terrorists couldn't come into the U.S. The kid said this. Trump is the best person in the world, and that's why I admire him. This is what the kid said.
Yeah. So
Jason Rantz, he's a radio guy, has a talk show in Washington State.
Yep.
He reported on this teacher. Stanton almost immediately kicked out the student from the chat room, deleted the chat, and proceeded to attack the president while calling out the student for mentioning him.
And 10 years old.
10 years old. And guess what? He tried to deny it.
He's 10 years
10
old.
years old.
He's looking up like the space shuttle just
Right,
took off.
Right.
10 years
10
old.
years
You
old.
went after a 10-year-old.
And he's engaged.
He's engaged and say, look, what else have you got? Give me some more. You know, a very malleable state in their growth. And you just shut him down. Okay. What's that look like 10 years from now?
Good question.
Is he going to be?
question.
Is he going to be quiet and withdrawn because he's afraid to express his opinion?
That could be. This is what they do.
The long-term effects of doing
Yeah.
that to a child,
right?
We don't know what that's going to look like. 'Cause we're
you're-
still in that new phase of cancel culture.
That's a great point.
You know,
That's
what
a
does
great
that look
point,
like?
Rick.
Well, me and my dad, we had disagreements. I had disagreements with my teachers, but they never shut me down.
No.
They just said, nope, that's wrong. Here's the reasons why. Okay, got it. Perfect. I'm on board.
And they didn't.
But they didn't
belittle you.
Don't beat them. Don't beat them down. Say, look, this is the reasons that I think you're wrong. Okay, and these are the reasons I think that I'm right. Okay, and let it be that. A 10-year-old?
10-year-old kid.
You do that to my kid, my 10-year-old, I'm probably going to have a talk with the principal.
Oh, yeah, at least.
I'm probably going to at least have a talk with the principal. That's not right. It's not the way that America was founded. It's not the way America should run ever. It's not the way America's ever going to survive, is by canceling every opinion that you don't agree with.
And that's a hallmark of the left. Every time.
Can't do it.
Every time. You know, one thing good that's come out of the COVID-19 crisis is the fact that more kids are learning remotely and the parents are knowing what's going on. This mother, her name again is, I've got her name here someplace. I want to get her name right. Well, it's the kid's mother. She heard what was something going on, so she came in after the chat had been ended with the student, and the student could still hear what was going on, could not participate, and she recorded the teacher.
Good for her.
Now, at the end, you'll hear the mother ask the boy, what did you say? This is very telling. Here is the recording. Here is the teacher after the kid was kicked off the Zoom class.
The example that was shared in the chat, which I went ahead and erased for us, was not appropriate, right? Especially as that individual has created so much division and hatred between people, and specifically spoken hatred to many different individuals, okay? So Patrick, I do apologize for kicking you out of the conference as I went ahead and adjusted our settings, but the settings should be adjusted now. The chat should be locked for today, just because I realized that maybe that question wasn't clear enough. So we'll go ahead and skip on that for today. Okay, again, that individual has spoken hate to many individuals, and I don't think is an appropriate example for a role model.
Donald J. Trump.
We should be admiring.
You say who? Donald J.
With that being
Trump.
said, let's go ahead and get started on our.
Did you hear that, little boy, Donald?
I did.
Said Donald J. Trump.
That's heartbreaking.
Is it not?
It's just heartbreaking.
Unbelievable.
And they're using the words hate and fear. He just said a person's name.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all he said. Donald J. Trump.
And
he made a good case. He made a good case.
God, if I could.
And
Why? Why do we have to be that way? We don't have to be that way. We choose to be that way. We can also choose to be better.
They are full of rage.
And that kid needs that kid should get a full apology. I would love to see the president go down and see that kid one-on-one. You know,
that's not something unlike the president would do.
No, he'd do it. And that's just it's hard because I'm a vet and we sign up to protect our freedoms.
Amen.
That's a freedom.
Amen.
You can have your opinion. That's how it is. But you don't get to beat a kid with it. A 10-year-old.
10-year-old.
You can hear his voice. Yeah. I just said Donald J. Trump.
Donald J. Trump. I mean, the poor little boy. I wanted to give the kid a hug.
Yeah.
You know?
And the words hate and all. Debate it.
Hate.
Show
in
him
whose
how,
opinion? It's not he's spread hate in my opinion. No, it wasn't his opinion.
Right.
It was presented as fact.
Right.
That is not teaching. That is indoctrinating.
Yep.
Get the hell out of the teaching profession.
What's that kid look like in 10 years now?
Yeah, I know.
What's the long-term effects of that interchange? I can remember a few interchanges in my adolescence. I can remember a few. What's that one going to look like?
That's a great point. That is
10
really
years.
It
won't be much more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Is that kid now going to be silent? Because
would you be surprised? I mean,
no, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's traumatic.
Nope.
That's traumatic for a 10-year-old.
Right.
That teacher has no business in the classroom.
Now all of his friends are looking at him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You talk about, we hate bullying. We hate peer pressure. Then shut up.
Right. It just don't.
Treat everybody with respect.
Right. Teach them at the home. Teach them at the school. Respect.
Jason Rantz was on with Tucker Carlson last night. He's the radio show host that brought this all to light. And he addressed this incident and others like it. And he like we all know, we know right here in Maine, these things are now occurring with regularity across the nation. And in this, he offers parents some very good advice. This is Jason Rantz.
What happens in Tacoma is happening all across the country. This isn't happening in a bubble. And right now, I think a lot of people are learning about it because of the remote learning situation. In this case, the parent happened to be there and decided to film it, thankfully. And of course, when she called the professor or this middle school teacher out over the phone, as you said, he denied it. But then she said, actually, I've got it on video. And then all of a sudden, the conversation started to change. We have so many teachers out there right now who, instead of teaching how to think, they're teaching kids what to think. And parents need to get engaged so they can push back at this propaganda.
Right. Absolutely true, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and it starts with school boards. It starts parent-teacher conferences. You know, we've got to re-engage and do better. We can do better.
Parents need to engage.
Yeah, and again, we're looking at a very small fraction of the teachers that are like this. You know, because the majority, I believe that the majority of teachers are doing a fantastic job.
They work hard. They love the kids, and they would never in a million years dream of doing this.
Yep.
But unfortunately, when you get to the university level, as you know, the public colleges and so forth, a majority are, and I look anywhere, you look at the statistics, a majority of the professors are leftists, many radical leftists who push agendas. You look at Amy Freed at the University of Southern Maine, who by herself, with support from the other leftists, made sure Michelle Malkin didn't get anywhere near those kids because she's a conservative voice and she is not allowed to speak here. Well, excuse me. This is still America, Amy. If you want this kind of dictatorship, go to Venezuela, go to Cuba. Yep. Enjoy.
If I'm paying $60,000 a year for a kid to go to school, my kid to go to school, he should know your political affiliation by the time he gets done.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I appreciate your time this morning, Rick.
Thanks for having me.
Rick Foss, District 19. 109. I knew that.
You'll get it one day.
I left the zero out. Representing part of Waterville, and vote Rick Foss on November 3rd.
Let's make it happen.
Absolutely, buddy.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Back with more. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Are you feeling cooped up? Tired of looking at the same old stuff at home day after day? Well, now that we can finally get out and do a little bit of shopping, why not head over to Townline Antiques? At Townline Antiques, you'll find 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. They've got vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, home decor, and much, much more. So get away from it all with a look to the past at Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201 right on the Winslow-Vassarboro Town Line.
Millionaire Sarah Gideon's tax hike would increase the price of gas and home heating oil in Maine by 40 cents a gallon. To regular Mainers, that would really hurt. Here's Dawn from Booth Bay.
The last thing I need right now is higher fuel bills. We're having a hard time as it is now. It would affect my family. Certainly would affect my friends because we're not wealthy people. With the economy, it's really bad for a lot of the people here. I don't know how I would make it through. Maybe I'll have to close my house up. Sarah Gideon is a millionaire. She doesn't know what it's like to be cold and miserable. I don't feel like she's very sincere in what she says. Sarah Gideon has done nothing at all to help us. Nothing.
Say no to Sarah Gideon. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore and Sons. Whittemore and Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like buying grapes at the grocery store. Will this bag be sweet? Will it be sour? Who knows, they look the same. But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales in service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun, we'll help you get it done. Whittemore & Sons. Outdoor power equipment. Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You wanna get on with your life, get on with the show,
take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust, and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Cloudy with areas of fog this morning, then developing sun. It will be brightest and warmest away from the coast. Low 70s at the coast, mid 70s to near 80 degrees further inland. Rain moves in tonight into tomorrow. It will also be windy, clearing during the afternoon. Highs in the low 70s, mostly sunny, less humid for Thursday.
Good morning. Welcome back. Pep Rally for Freedom. John James, your lovable, squeezable, huggable host. Here, freshly washed. Feels so good, doesn't it, after a shower? I was thinking about that this morning. I was thinking, boy, a shower sure feels good. Even if you don't work like me, even if you stand around talking all day, you just feel like you need a shower. Sometimes talking about some of the leftist crap going on out there, I feel like I need a shower. Just reading about it, I feel like I need a shower a lot. 10:35 right now. 621-9759, 207-441-6969. Welcome your comments on Facebook, too. Been with Rick Voss for the last hour or so. Haven't done too much checking out on the Facebook here, but I certainly will check it out. As a parent, Eleni says, as a parent, I would be handling that. Even if my child is an adult, no one will talk to my kid in that tone. And we had a couple of different teachers. I think she was talking about the first one, the professor in Massachusetts, who literally scolded a college student, an adult woman, scolded her and made her feel like 2 inches tall because she said she didn't think Donald Trump is a Nazi. And the teacher went right off the deep end. The professor went right off the deep end. And then you've got the 10-year-old in Tacoma, Washington, who said he admired, the person he most admired was Donald J. Trump. And that got this 10-year-old singled out and booted from the class. In both cases, they were being taped. The professor was being taped by the student. The teacher in Tacoma, Washington was being taped by the student's mother. Amen. If your kids are being schooled via Zoom at home, you owe it to yourself to listen in and see what the curriculum is, see what the tone is. And, you know, I would go so far. I would do this just because it would be very telling. I would literally, you're just asking for it, John James. I would put a Donald Trump banner behind me for my class and just let it roll. Now, in a free society, nobody is going to say nothing unless a fellow student says, oh, I see you've got a Donald Trump. Well, okay, that's a little different. If the teacher says anything, if the teacher singles you out and tells you you can't have that in your bedroom at home, you have to turn the camera or take it down or you're getting kicked out, then we've got a little bit of a problem. This has gone too far. It's gone too far. All anger from the left. You got an anecdotal piece that shows me somebody who had a Biden sign hanging on their wall, got excoriated and kicked out by a conservative teacher. Show me. Show me. Show me where hate comes from the right. Show me. I've got all day. I've got all day. I'm talking about the radical left here. There's plenty of people on the radical left. I've got plenty of friends who aren't radical, who are Democrats, who are left of center, and we get along just famously. Just fine. Because we all understand the same thing. We all want the same thing. We want freedom. Some of us want a little bit more liberalism. Some of us want a little more conservatism, but we aren't gone. We aren't gone to the dark side like so many in the U.S. Congress and in academia have. They have gone, they are out of control. They are just waiting for utopia to begin. And I don't know if it's that they are being disingenuous, that they know what this all means, or if they are just literally ignorant because they are followers. And if you have teachers or professors who are that ignorant, who are so ignorant that they would come down on students for having an opinion, then how did they get their teaching degree? They should not be teaching in school. Should not, should be fired, should find another career, maybe making sandwiches at Subway, maybe that would be good. I don't know, but not teaching our kids. 1039 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And have you ever heard of woke ice cream? Well, you're about to find out what woke ice cream is. Dreyer's ice cream, not Breyers, Dreyer's, Dreyer apostrophe S. Dreyer's ice cream, after more than 100 years, they had pulled an ice cream off the shelf because it wasn't politically correct. What ice cream are you? It had a derogatory. They said it had a derogatory name, so they pulled it, and they got their R&D team together, and they came up. Finally, they've come up with a new name for this horribly named derogatory ice cream that was so hideous in its name. It had it for 100 years, but all of a sudden, in 2020, it became hurtful. It became hurtful to people. And the one I'm talking about, the ice cream I'm talking about, are you ready? Eskimo pie ice cream bars. Oh my God. Eskimo pie ice cream. How could they possibly use Eskimo? Well, I don't know. Maybe because people think of Eskimos, is Eskimo derogatory? I always thought Eskimo was pretty cool. You think of the people living in igloos and the big fur coats, and they're fine human beings. They weather the elements. They are courageous. They are fierce. Well, not in 2020. No. Eskimo is now a bad word. It's derogatory. So now the ice cream has been renamed Edie's Pie. E-D-Y. Edie's Pie. And it's named for one of the founders of the company. According to Dreyer's Ice Cream, quote, "We are committed to being a part of the solution on racial equality." Is Eskimo a race? Really? Am I that dumb? Literally, am I that dumb? I didn't know Eskimo is a race. It's an actual race? Eskimo? I thought it was just people that lived in the cold. They used to live in igloos. They were called Eskimos. I used to give my daughter Eskimo kisses. That's where you rub your noses. It's the way we interpreted it. So they said, we are committed to being part of the solution on racial equality, and we recognize the term is derogatory, said Elizabeth Marquez, head of marketing for Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream. It's a U.S. subsidiary of Froneri, according to Fox. This move is part of a larger review to ensure our company and brands reflect our people values. All right, have I missed something here? Eskimo? Really? I mean, what? Are we going to do away with every single solitary word that refers to a different culture or a person in a different geographic part of the country? Do you know what Eskimo literally means? No, I'm asking you. Do you know what Eskimo literally means? I'll tell you what Eskimo literally means. A member of an indigenous people inhabiting the northern Canada, Alaska, Greenland, and eastern Siberia, traditionally living by hunting. Eskimos. It describes a people. So is Eskimo becoming now like the N-word? You can't make all from the left. If you think that's a reasonable move, well, you might be a leftist. I'm going to come up with a whole routine. I am going to do a whole Jeff Foxworthy type routine. You might be a leftist. I'm going to do it. I'm going to present it to you right on this show. I think it'll be a hit with conservatives, maybe with leftists. I try to do jokes that will make everybody laugh, even those, but leftists don't have, these radical leftists don't have a sense of humor. They have no sense of humor. So forget about trying to make the other side laugh along with us. They don't laugh at anything because everything's serious. Eskimo, really? Okay, so I'm sorry to laugh at it, but I'm speechless. Eskimo is not it's a word in the dictionary. It's not a derogatory term. Otherwise, it would say a derogatory term. Here's the second definition. Either of the two main languages spoken by the indigenous people of the Arctic, Inuit and Yupik, forming a major division of the Eskimo Aleut family, or Aleut, I'm not sure how you say it, relating to Eskimos or their language. But because somebody got butthurt, probably one or two people, Eskimos. All it takes is one or two people, and the left jumps right in. Oh, we're going to save you from these evil, derogatory, name-calling people. What a bunch of crybabies. What a bunch of crybabies you far leftists are. What a bunch of whiners. What a bunch of snowflakes. Yeah, that fits. That fits. Throw a little water on you and you melt like the Witch of the West on the Wizard of Oz. You won't melt like an Eskimo because Eskimos are a strong people. They lived in the cold in the Arctic, in Canada, in Alaska. They hunted, they fished. They were true spirited indigenous people. Eskimo should be taken as a symbol of pride. And here you go, leftist, and you ruin everything that was once good. You ruin it. You destroy it in the name of social justice and anti-racism. You make everything about race. Oh, it's a private company. They can do what they want. But this had to come from somewhere. There had to be an impetus that started this. I'm sure the ice cream company didn't say one day, Eskimo, that's kind of racist. We probably ought to change that. I'm sure somebody said, well, you better change that name or you're going to be branded a racist ice cream company. We'll make sure of it. We'll call for a boycott of Dreyer's ice cream. They love boycotts. Oh, they love boycotts. They never work well, by the way. Didn't work well for Goya Foods, did it? People bought more Goya Foods than ever once the left said boycott Goya Foods because they said something nice about Donald Trump. They are triggered. They have a hair across their proverbial butt 24/7. God love them because they have to be miserable in their lives. Can you imagine living your life every single day in anger, in rage at something you think is unjust? Oh, I laugh a lot every day, usually at this silliness. It's silliness. It really is. It's juvenile silliness. We have enough stuff in this country we need to take care of and fix. We have enough relationships worldwide we either need to sever or repair or make more equal. And what are we talking about here in America? Eskimo. We're talking about the word Eskimo. We're talking about the fact that men who identify as women should be able to go into the women's room. That men who identify as girls should be able to race in girls' races. This is what we're discussing in America, and we are becoming the laughing stock because of the left. Think about that. Not because of Donald Trump, because of the left. 10:50. We got to take a break. I'll be right back. I'm John James. Freedom's Pep Rally is here.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
Our Medicare supplement and drug coverage is so expensive, we're barely keeping up with our bills.
My husband and I were in the same situation. So I got some help from the Senior Planning Center. They were able to show us some high-quality Medicare Advantage plans that saved us a lot of money.
The Senior Planning Center? Tell me more.
They have helpful agents all over the state. Real Mainers helping Mainers. Give them a call at 778-6565. The Senior Planning Center. They were there to help when it mattered most. I'm glad I called them. You'll be glad too.
1160, WSKW. That's a very nice song, but we weren't on wood. All right, didn't want to do that, but those things happen when you leave the room for 2 seconds and let somebody else run the show. Okay, it's 10:52. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not too far behind here. Okay, yeah, we do have. Oh, good. You're going to love this. The fans of the Moody's jingle are going to love this. We do have one more ad. I'm going to run that right now so you can sing along to the Moody's Collision. They, by the way, sponsor our videos, both on Facebook and at legacy1160.com.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show,
take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
All right, I just got a nasty gram from Facebook saying our video is no longer discoverable or is blocked. Is that a fact? Can you still see me? I see me, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't care if I can see me. I want you to see me. My milkshake brings all the Dems to the yard. Their life is better than yours. Their life is better than yours. I know there are a lot of people listening who have no idea what Dottie and I are talking about. Joel says that's not even the first time today milkshakes have been brought up. I guess that means I'm getting a shake today. Ooh, boy, that does sound good. Milkshake in the parking lot. What are all this talk about milkshakes? on the Facebook stream. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And they're like, it's better than yours. I don't remember how it goes. I remember playing that song, though. I got sick of that song for a while, but now I kind of like it. Look it up, Milkshake. What was the girl's name that did that? Milkshake. I'm going to type it in. I bet her name comes right up. Should we play it? Oh, I get pictures of milkshakes, of course. How about the song? I want Milkshake's song. No, we still get a few minutes in this hour. Oh, it's Khalees. That's who did it. Khalees did Milkshake. And you want to hear a little bit of, if you haven't heard Milkshake by Khalees, then your life is not yet full. It is not full. You need to hear Milkshake, and it'll make you smile.
Can't trust Sarah.
Oh, stop that. I don't want an ad. I want Khalees. There we go. Oh, there's an intro. The video has she is very cute.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. You want it?
Oh man. I really do miss that format. I do. And it's a very sexy video. I don't believe I ever saw the video. I played it about 1,000 times on my morning show, but I never saw the video. That's a very sexy. Khalees, K-E-L-I-S is how you spell her name. If you want to go right out and look for that. But I ask that you please wait till the end of the show because we have a lot more stuff to get to this morning. Oh, thank you. You like that? Okay, we got people. Maybe we got to play. Maybe we got to play more of the hits here during the show. We'll play them underneath. It'll be like it'll just be like a bed, like a musical bed underneath us. That wouldn't be too distracting, would it? 10:57 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Well, Tara Reid. Do you know that name? Tara Reid. There's another Tara Reid. Who is the other Tara Reid? I forget who the other Tara Reid is. I'm talking about Joe Biden's Tara Reid. The one that accused Joe Biden of raping her back in the 1990s. Oh, yeah, of course you've forgotten about her because they stopped talking about her because the mainstream media doesn't talk about her anymore because it's a Joe Biden accuser. Oh, they talk about Christine Blasey Ford and all Brett Kavanaugh's accusers all day long, ad nauseum, 24/7, boom, boom, boom. They're still talking about him. They still bring up Christine Blasey Ford. But you're not hearing a word about Tara Reid from the Democratic mainstream media because it would hurt Joe Biden, and they can't hurt the chosen one. They can't hurt the chosen one. So Tara Reid, while it was always Me Too, believe the woman, Kamala Harris was a big leader in that crusade, but Kamala Harris not saying a word now. You kidding me? Kamala Harris got the opportunity of a lifetime to be somebody big. So she doesn't care about the woman, not when she has the chance to prove that she can be president of the United... Did I say president? No. That I only said it because I meant it. She sees the opportunity to be the president of the United States. She could care less. Tara Reid might as well go fly a kite. Nobody's talking about her except 60 Minutes did an interview right at the election time, right within a month of the election. 60 Minutes did an interview with Tara Reid, the accuser of Joe Biden. But there is one huge telling caveat, and you're going to find out more coming up. Don't go anywhere. I'm John James.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. President Trump is back at the White House and ready to campaign. His November opponent says the president just doesn't get it. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce in Washington with more.
Trump is promising to be back on the trail soon. His team saying he intends to be at the next debate, exactly 2 weeks after he tested positive. Biden says it should be up to the medical experts.
The scientists say that it's safe, then I think that's fine.
But first, it's their running mate's turn. Despite health concerns, the face-off between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence is still on for tomorrow night.
ABC Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton with more on the refusal to wear a mask.
In medicine, we always have to deal with non-compliant patients. Behavior does matter. We try not to get angry or lose hope in changing behavior in a patient, but there's one thing in engaging in behavior that has an impact on your personal health, quite another thing when it endangers the lives of others.
This is ABC News. With the president still fighting coronavirus and both vice presidential candidates preparing for tomorrow's debate, Joe Biden is alone on the campaign trail today.
It's a symbolic location, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the scene of one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War and where President Trump had considered giving his RNC nomination acceptance speech before COVID-19 changed that plan to a White House event. Now it's Democrat Joe Biden's turn. He'll deliver remarks at Gettysburg this afternoon. A Biden aide saying in a statement he'll highlight the need for people to work together and to reach across the aisle in order to address the crises we face, adding he'll remind voters we are in a battle for the soul of the nation. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
And restaurants in northern Ohio are trying something new to keep serving people outside, even when temperatures start dropping. Plastic domes that look like igloos, each big enough for one table, complete with heating and lighting. The maker of the dome says business so far this year is up 200 to 300%. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Order! Continue, Ms. Garner.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day.
Objection! My credit card doesn't earn double miles on every purchase.
I object to your objection. With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase.
Order!
And right now, earn 100,000 bonus miles when you spend $20,000 in your first year.
I'll allow it.
No further questions, Your Honor. Well, just one. What's in your wallet?
Limited time offer. Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store or at homedepot.com/Pro Extra for details.
It's time for the truth, and you found the home of it right here.
We embrace tolerance, not prejudice. We support the courageous men and women of law enforcement. We will never abolish our police or our great Second Amendment, which gives us the right to keep and bear arms. We believe that our children should be taught to love their country, honor their history, and respect our great American flag.
Here's your truth-telling, freedom-loving, flag-waving host, John James.
Hey, welcome. Welcome back. 11:03. And we're in the final hour. Can you believe it? And oh, do we have some stuff to get to? Do we have some stuff? 60 Minutes with Tara Reid. Whoa. Can you believe it? Would CBS do a 60 Minutes interview and air it with Tara Reid so close to the election? The answer is yes. But there's more to the story. Stick around for that. That's coming up. Megan from Rome, New York is on the phone. Good morning, Megan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. It's good to hear your voice. What's going on out there, dear? That's how we talk in Maine.
It's crazy. The left is getting crazier and crazier with every day passing. I mean, you know, we are attacked left and right by the left-wing media and the left side. I was just on Facebook the other day, and there was this video of this woman being pulled over because her car popped up as a stolen vehicle. And from the get-go, she was, you know, belligerent, aggressive, and not, you know, complying with police. And there was this one comment on there that said, all you KK need to burn in hell. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, all right, so just because we're white, we're automatically KKK members?
Really?
I was like, do you hear how ridiculous
Yeah,
you
well,
sound?
yeah, that's how
I was like, I don't have any ancestors who owned slaves. In fact, all my ancestors came over here as immigrants after the Civil War, period.
Yeah.
And I'm part Native American. So you can't make that assumption and lump everybody in one group. And for your information, I have a mixed niece. I was like, so, I mean, it just goes to show your true colors, your hatred. And I saw someone had a comment back to her saying that the idea of Black privilege is where you expect everybody else to abide by the law, but not for these.
See, it's so sad that we're at this point, but they have to find something. I feel sorry for them, to be honest with you, Megan, because they have to find something to keep their ire up. They have to find something that makes them angry, even if it's dishonest, even if there's no real good reason for the anger. They gin up anger over something that is just benign, really, on its face, and they make it an issue. And the media is more than happy to run because they feel for the underdog. You know, the poor person who is being preyed upon is the underdog. We need to protect them, and it's never the guys who are on the right. You know,
I mean, to a certain extent, John, I feel sorry for them, but after that, you know, there's a line I draw in the sand, and it's like, stop playing the victim, stop being the victim. I mean, I had an issue with my sister recently. That's what I had posted earlier in the week, and she's very extreme left. Okay.
Okay.
We had reconnected, and I thought we had come to an understanding, you know, on a middle ground on certain things. And then she posted this outrageous thing where all the arson and all the fires out on the West Coast are being caused by right-wing extreme groups.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
And it triggered something in me. So, you know, I was planning on calling her anyway to check up on my brother. And she's dodged me for the last month or so. And, well, she wasn't answering my questions, and I called her out on a lie. And I said, you're a liar. And then all of a sudden the tables were turned. She used profanity and vulgar on me, which I didn't do from the get-go, and basically told me to suck her D, and that I was a narcissist gaslighter like our mother. And I'm like, you know what, Hannah? You need to stop playing the victim card. I was like, you're upset because I called you out, and we see it for what it is, and you can go back in the text and read it. And I never compared you to anybody in our family. And you claim you want to be treated as an adult. How about you act like an adult? Because if you had done that on the real world, someone would have decked you. Or if you said that to a boss, they would have fired you.
But you understand, this is how the left is training them. They're literally being trained to be victims because you get more stuff. If you're victims, you get more compassion, more sympathy. If you're a victim, they will take care of you if you're a victim. This is the entitlement generation, and they want everything given to them. And the only way they can get it is to be the victim. And this.
Oh, well, I have a sister that's like 4 years younger than me, and she said certain things, you know, along the same lines. You know, we stopped talking to that somehow I'm such a self-entitled and ungrateful. I'm like, really? I've worked for everything in my life.
Yeah.
I've busted my butt to get where I've got. And I don't even nearly have as much as you do. But again, I'm not materialistic. For the things I do have, I worked for that.
Mm.
I busted my butt for that. And I served my country's military. Tell me how I'm ungrateful. I did the most, you know, what am I? Unselfish act.
Yes.
You could possibly do.
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
put my life on the line for you and everybody else in this country. So tell me how I'm ungrateful and self-entitled.
Thank you for your service, too, by the way, Megan. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. because I have opinion, because I called you out on something,
Mm.
and you got caught red-handed
Yeah.
for being a hypocrite that you are. You claim to be a Christian, but yet you're not acting very Christian-like. And she's also the sister who constantly, condemns me on how I might talk. I'm not gonna lie, I use curse words, and she's like, "Oh, that's not, right to do, Megan, and you should watch the way you talk or how you come off, or I should be more church like her, And I was like, me going to church doesn't make me a Christian.
Right. No, they like to find the fault because they have no faults. That's the problem. That they do no introspection. They do no introspection. They consider themselves the victim, and with victimhood, you don't have to account for all of your shortcomings. You don't have to account for it. You just need to be coddled and taken care of, and that sadly is becoming the downfall of our country right now, and we're seeing it all over on the far left.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got many Democrats listening to me who will agree with that, and they don't like it either. But
and I mean, it's a fact. If you poll people on the left, right? If you ask them, do you truly know what socialism is? What these policies they want to put in place are, what it would really mean. They're like, no, I'm not for that. You'll find a lot of people who claim to be, extreme left and for extreme left policies. They're for capitalism. Well, capitalism doesn't work with the trickle-down system or the Green New Deal idea. Think about it. Really critically think about it. I mean, you have a mind, use it. Regardless of how much censorship's going on around, the internet and on social media and so on, it doesn't stop you from thinking for yourself.
correct. But see what they're doing. It's like a red herring. I mean, we've got all of these issues that we need to take care of, and they start and they exacerbate these race riots, the COVID-19. They take everything Trump does and they amp it up tenfold to take people's attention off what's going on and make it look like it's all Trump's fault, that they are being victimized by their government, that Trump is a Nazi, and that we're all going to die if we don't get climate change under control. All the while, they are gaining power and they are laughing all the way as things go along. And I hope they're not laughing after November 3rd. Or whenever they get the results of the election. I hope at that point they realize they took it just a little bit too far, which I feel they have. But again, they've distracted so many of the weak-minded into thinking that they need to vote for that progressive ticket or we're all going to die. The country is going to be racist, and they're promising us something there's no way they can deliver, but nobody on their side cares to look at what is coming or what it will cost for that matter.
And I mean, it should be more obvious, like people who live in certain cities throughout the country that are very democratic, very left. You don't have to watch the news. And in fact, you shouldn't just solely base your information on mainstream news. Just look around you. I mean, people in California right now can take a look and see how, littered their streets are with homeless. People camped out in tents near a courthouse on the hill, okay, and underpassages. And it's like, all right, so if this is occurring, what is failing, us? Who is failing us? Why are we failing at being able to do the simplest things, like, prevent people from being homeless, from our streets being filthy, drug ridden? I mean, it's that easy. Just open your eyes. And it's just, it's beyond me how people just don't use, the five senses are the most important thing, to take information in. And you have that ability, and what better, information, concrete evidence, in fact, other than with your mind, other than the news, all right, because you're not physically there. Look around you, like take a walk around where you live, especially people who live in bigger cities, or the lack of the ability to walk around in big cities. if you live there, and the inability to do it safely. I mean, it just should be oh so obvious in slapping you in the face. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I'm afraid to even leave my apartment now.
Yeah,
I mean, how ridiculous it's gotten here.
It's sad. Yeah, watch how people behave. Who do you want to be like? Do you want to be like the person who works hard and does well? Or do you want to be like the person who does nothing but complain, does nothing but go out and moan about the system keeping them down? Of course the system's going to keep you down if you let them, because that's what they want to do. The system wants power. They want to keep you down. You know,
and I mean, I said to this woman in a comment, I said, bless your heart. I was like, I'll pray for your soul. But you know what? The very thing that you're doing is the very definition of racism. And I was like, anybody's capable of racism. It don't matter what your color of your skin is. And we are all required to follow the letter of the law. You're not above it. Nobody is. Nobody should be. And yet you play the victim and you cry, you know, victimhood, and you're singled out and, you know, your people are being killed. But look around you. You're not the only one.
Well,
you're not the only one.
But they're weak-minded. They're being told that they are the victims and that they've got to fight back. And that this is what the left is doing. They're telling them, you're a victim. You've got to fight back. You know, you've got to take this into your own hands. And they're pushing it. And they do it on the news. And they do it in the streets. And they do it in Congress. And the people are weak-minded. And
well, the thing is, the mixture of these riots and everything, it's not just about people who are claiming victimhood or, you know, are actual victims. It's a mixture of both victimhood and extremism. Because the chunk of these people writing, they don't care about the social justice or the social justice signaling. It's not about that for them. It's about complete and utter destruction, burn it all down, you know, get rid of the Constitution.
Because they're told we can what? Do you know the slogan? Joe Biden's slogan? It's because they're being told once we get rid of Trump, we can build back better. That's what
ridiculous, you know, slogan. It's not even grammatically correct.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not grammatically correct. But this is what they want to do. They want a complete reset. Our reset is coming with Donald J. Trump. It came in the first 4 years against all odds. It'll come in the next 4 years if people are smart enough to reelect him. And I'm going to have to run because I've got a bunch of stuff I've got to do here. Megan, I always appreciate your time.
I always love talking to you, John.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, my dear.
You too.
Be well.
You too.
Bye now. Bye. Megan, our listener in Rome, not Maine, New York. We've got more coming up. Tara Reid, what's up with her? Stick around. I'll have the 60 Minutes details coming up.
AM 1160, WSKW.
Last year, the healthcare industry spent $500 million trying to influence Washington politicians, hiring over 2,000 lobbyists to make sure their corporations continue to make more while you're forced to pay more for your coverage. So it's no surprise that in Washington, they're moving backwards on access to quality, affordable healthcare. I'm Sarah Gideon, and as Washington fails, in Maine, we did something about it. Cracking down on companies who jack up prices, expanding access to generic medication, making sure that people with pre-existing conditions are guaranteed affordable coverage, and ensuring healthcare companies can't overcharge when you seek necessary care. I haven't taken a dime from drug and insurance companies in this campaign because they don't own this Senate seat. You do. I'll always put Maine first. That's why I approve this message. Paid for by Sarah Gideon for Maine.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's. Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show,
take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's. Collision Centers.
M-O-O Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first. Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Did you hear what Joe Biden just did? Now I'll get to the Tara Reid thing. We get a little Joe Biden segment here for you. Legacy 1160 WSKW. Joe Biden's in hot water over a viral clip suggesting why people were able to quarantine during the coronavirus pandemic. It's a 10-second clip, which was originally shared September 29th. And it was part of comments that Joe made during a September 15th roundtable with veterans in Tampa, Florida. You might remember that. And he is accused of racist comments. Now, you remember the Charlemagne the God, the Breakfast Club, where he went on and told Charlemagne the God that if you don't know if you're voting for Trump or me, then you ain't black. Now, of course, Charlemagne the God is black. And that was racist. And this is part of a tweet. This comes from somebody who named Dan Mellis. No idea who that is. But the comments didn't go viral until yesterday when Turning Point USA kind of amplified it. Charlie Kirk, that's Charlie Kirk's organization. The senior contributor, Rob Smith of TPUSA, is the one who, I guess, retweeted it. Let's give a listen. I haven't heard the actual clip yet. I've read about it. Listen.
You see, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Okay, did you get that? Here's what he said. They're saying, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stock the grocery shelf. Now, in the expanded remarks, according to Fox News, Biden had expressed a positive tone in dealing with the problems the country faces, particularly ones that stem from coronavirus. He said he's more optimistic than I've ever been in my whole career, because his whole career has been a failure. So anything, throw him a bone and he's going to feel more optimistic, right? I mean, the guy's run for president. This is his third time. He's been caught doing corrupt things. He's been caught plagiarizing after plagiarizing after plagiarizing back in his 87 campaign. And things just keep getting worse for him. Okay, here's the whole thing, though. And they say, well, why the hell would you say that, Biden? You just talked about all these difficulties. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the American public, the blinders have been taken off. They've all of a sudden seen a hell of a lot clearer. They're saying, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stock the grocery shelf. Or a young Hispanic is out there. Even the expanded comments don't justify his... I don't know if he thinks using... Is he pandering? I think he's pandering. I think he thinks he's complimenting people. He's saying nice things that are going to get him votes. But he doesn't know how to... The guy, he's been in politics forever. You would think he would have modicum of intelligence when it comes to speaking publicly. He's always had problems speaking publicly, though. And I don't mean because of his stammer and his stutter. Yeah, I know he's got that. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with cognitive thinking, which he seems more and more incapable of doing. And I don't mean that to be critical of him. It's just a fact of nature. Some people deal with it. Some people don't have to deal with it. Some people deal with it more quickly than others. Donald Trump is very cognitive, very on top of things. And Joe Biden, not so much. So anyway, that's the latest about Joe Biden. So how about 60 Minutes? Finally, Tara Reade's story is being pulled out of mothballs after Kamala Harris completely stopped talking about believing Tara Reade, as soon as she knew she could be in line for the vice presidential nominee. Yeah, that far back. It didn't even take for her to get the nod. It was as soon as she knew she was in the running. And she knew she was, because Joe Biden committed to not just a woman, but a black woman, because Al Sharpton, Don Lemon, Joy Reid told him to. Told him, did you hear him? Did you hear the interviews? Joy Reid said, well, I would prefer a woman of color. She said that to Joe. And of course, Joe Biden, the empty vessel, thought, yeah, I've got to do that. So Kamala Harris knew right then that he had committed himself, and that as far as the political field where there were well-known people, there weren't a lot of highly qualified black women that she knew of. I mean, there was her, there was Stacey Abrams, there were a few others that had high qualifications and high name recognition. It took both of those things. So he chose Kamala Harris, who arguably had the highest name recognition. Give him that. But she's probably the worst candidate he could have chosen. There's no moderation about her. She is as far left as they come. And as soon as she knew she was in the running, she stopped talking about Tara Reade. It was like a light switch. I believe the woman. I think we've got to hear from Tara Reade. You're in line. You could be my vice presidential nominee. Tara Reade? Who's that? Well, Tara Reade, back in the spotlight. That's Joe Biden's accuser. She was on 60 Minutes this past week. If you missed it, and I bet you did, here is a little bit of the damning piece. Listen, Tara Reade, 60 Minutes.
Here I am in the Senate office. Here's a good picture of Senator Biden. He pushed me up against the wall, and then he used his knee to separate my legs. You're what? She was telling me to go to the police right then, and to keep what I was wearing and on, and to go to the police. Why did you resist going to the police? They're there to protect the senators and congressmen. They're not there to protect us.
Did you sexually assault Tara Reade?
No, it is not true.
What made you think, no, I'm going to tell the full truth? I decided that people needed to know he's going to the highest office of the land. Well, I know what he's like. I know what his character's like. And he doesn't deserve the presidency based on what happened to me. He's been misogynistic. He's had sexual assault allegations, sexual harassment. He's a blue Trump. He's a blue Trump.
He's a blue Trump.
Sunday after the block on 9 and 9 Now.
Okay, so you probably know. The end of the story. So if you watched 60 Minutes but didn't see that, there is a good reason. Weeks before the election, CBS made sure this only aired in Australia. What? So now Senator Ted Cruz has questions. Good. The fact that CBS News chose to use its Australian version of 60 Minutes to give Reid a platform instead of 60 Minutes that airs in the U.S. is evidence that CBS News is covering up for Democrats, according to Ted Cruz. Who couldn't see that? Who couldn't admit to that? Cruz goes on, this is the most complete indictment of media bias ever. And here was my question. Ted Cruz asked this question. Why does CBS think voters in Australia need to know about these serious charges against Biden, but not voters in America, where he's actually on the ballot? Only explanation, Cruz says, is that CBS News is covering up for Dems. Makes sense? I mean, it doesn't make sense the way they did it. It makes no common sense. It would be like the person running for vice president, the wife of the Australian. No, what am I trying to say here? It would be like 60 Minutes America covering a scandal in Australia involving the presidential candidate and a rape allegation. I mean, would they do that? I mean, who cares? Who would care? Who in Australia even cared? But they can say they did a story about it. Ted Cruz added, please, CBS News, respond. Either tell us, one, why you decided this is news in Australia but not in the USA, or two, why you have abandoned any pretense of impartiality or journalistic integrity. We'll wait. Journalistic integrity. Good grief. In the American media, we get better press coverage from Sky News in England. We get more fair news coverage from Sky News in England than we do from any of the media in this country. And it's not by accident. It's not by chance. And it is a real thing. Kind of frightening, isn't it? 11:32. 621-975-920-744-16969. I think I just forgot to push the off button on the phone. I hope I didn't hang up on somebody. If I did, call back. Chris Cuomo had a meltdown last night. Oh, my word. Fredo was on fire. Fredo was on fire, showing how partisan, how much he hates Donald Trump, a fellow New Yorker. He thanked God because he didn't have to feign concern about President Trump's life following the discharge from the hospital yesterday. And on top of that, he talked about 5 anonymous sources who are in the White House who claim Trump left them for dead. And you want to know who they were? Fredo wants you to know it's none of your damn business. He told you, his viewers, that. Here is Fredo, last night, CNN, in all his glory.
There he is, hair blown majestically, reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bullshit. Going back to the White House, if you want to know the reality, the truth, okay, the virus is the truth. You've got a president who is a drunk driver who is pushing others to drive drunk. That's what he is. Do I want to see a drunk driver get hurt? Hell no. But I worry more about the people he hits. And I love seeing him do that victory lap in that limo. Thank God. You know why? I knew that meant he has to. Okay. Not the people who were in there with him, PPE up to their nose. Now they got a quarantine. He doesn't give a damn. And now I don't have to feign any extra measure of compassion because he went out there. Whatever happens now is on him. The White House is a cluster. He returned to a cluster and took his mask off. That is COVIDiocy. He's a COVIDiot. You're disrespecting the president. No, he disrespected the presidency. All that's left is the residue of outrage because that's the only emotion I have. He didn't beat the virus. He's not better than anybody who didn't beat the virus or who takes time. He's not stronger than I am. He got every advantage. He has use of all the things he denies the rest of us. They left their own people for dead. I know it. I've spoken to 5 of them. Who? None of your damn business. It's not the point.
None of your damn business, he tells you. It's not the point, says the man who didn't social distance when he had COVID. He was outside. He was running around outside, cavorting with the guy on a bike. Remember the guy on the bike? Wondered, what the hell are you doing here? He's all, what do you mean? The only thing he has is rage. The only thing I can have right now is rage. That's all you ever have, Chris Cuomo. That's all you ever have is rage, unless you're talking to your boy Don Lemon about going out and being recognized on the sidewalks of New York as you eat dinner. Oh, they recognized us. Oh, they didn't. They thought we were out of context. We weren't in the studio. They waved at us. You guys are on TV. You're stars. Chris Cuomo, so full of himself. Of course, Chris Cuomo can do no wrong, can he? Can do no wrong. Speaking of CNN, Kirstie Alley, God bless Kirstie Alley. Boy, oh boy. She leveled CNN, didn't she? You hear about this? CNN reporter criticizing Donald Trump after returning to the White House from the medical center. Took his mask off before cameras after arriving at the White House. You saw him stand there. He shoved it in his pocket and did the salute. The media and critics pounced immediately, accusing him, of course, of being irresponsible. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Unless you were right there. I didn't see anybody else in the periphery. Maybe there was. Maybe he did go into the building with a bunch of people without a mask. Prove it. I haven't seen that. Only days into the diagnosis, according to CNN, the first thing President Trump does when he gets back to the White House is take his mask off. That's Caitlin Collins on CNN. And Kirstie Alley ripped into her. Expletives. What would you like him to do? Start crying like a little bee? So you can report that he's crying like a little bee? He could have a hazmat suit on, and you would report he's an effing lunatic in a hazmat suit, Alley said. You hate him. Just report that, Kirstie Alley concluded. You go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. 11:38 here on Legacy 1160. Good morning, you're on with John. Who am I talking with? Are you there? Just happened to look over and catch that and missed again. 11:38. 441-6969, 207-621-9759. Commenting on Facebook. That seems to be the thing I look at the most. And even so, I don't look at it enough. Okay, just checking out the comments here. Yeah, no kidding, right, Melanie? Where can it's 11:30. I'm trying to multitask. Sorry about that. I'm very bad at that. I know. Well, CNN's not the only news outlet that lost their proverbial crap. Sunday, after Sunday's ride, the president took outside the Walter Reed Medical Center Did you know that ride could signal the implosion of the presidency of the United States? Whoa, wait a minute here. Yes, it could signal the implosion of the presidency of the United States. Well, at least according to Mika Brzezinski. And her lapdog Joe Scarborough was nodding in affirmation as she said it. Listen to this.
You look at those pictures and it really, it shocks the conscience. And as a Walter E. Doctor said, it was just absolutely staggering that this was allowed. Every single person in the vehicle during that completely unnecessary presidential drive-by, just now, the doctor goes on, has to be quarantined for 14 days. They might not get sick. They might get sick. They may die for political theater commanded by the president to put their lives at risk for theater. This is insanity.
And just is not surprising. Yeah. At the same time, it's an implosion potentially of the presidency of the United States.
Not all because of the rejection of things that we learned 300 years ago in the age of enlightenment, the age of reason, the trusting of medicine, the trusting of science, the trusting of carefully gathered facts through hundreds of years of again, medicine and science and learning, and instead denialism. This one drive really neatly encapsulates the recklessness and the denialism and the anti-medicine position that this president and his party have embraced, as 200,000 plus people have died.
Wow. The implosion of the presidency. The president's critics complained that Trump was putting lives at risk by leaving isolation. The Washington Post's conservative blogger even said Trump should face criminal charges if Secret Service personnel become infected. I would hope that if any harm comes to those agents, the Attorney General of MD, Maryland, will indict Trump for reckless endangerment, assault, yes, the virus he gives off counts, etc. That's from Jennifer Rubin. She considers herself a conservative blogger. Well, she used to. There's another. She goes by something else now. I can't remember what it is. I've got it written down here somewhere. She goes on, I hope that if any harm comes to those agents, the GOP is a death cult, she said. So she's conservative? I don't think so. There is only one pro-life party, and it's not them. She's warped. She is a sicko. The Lincoln Project, which is a band of Republicans who are never Trumpers, they oppose Trump, claimed that Trump willingly endangered innocent people in order to feed his small ego. Democrat strategist and talk show host Chip Franklin called Trump effing insane. Lynn Camella, an associate professor of gender and sexuality studies, that sounds like quite a class, at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, wrote in a since deleted tweet that Trump is, quote, on a killing spree. What's going on at Walter Reed? Who allowed this public health travesty? Feminist Liz Plank wrote, and this all from Donald Trump's ride. This isn't even from his release from the hospital. Feminist Liz Plank wrote at NBC that Trump's brief exit from isolation revealed the dangers of toxic masculinity. I thought we got rid of that phrase. Toxic, bite my toxic masculinity. Nobody more masculine than you, is there? Liz? toxic femininity. That's a tough one. Femininity. Oh, goodness. So anyway, there's more comment. I'm not even going to go into it. It's just ridiculous. And of course, you wonder who's been exposed to it. We know Kayleigh McEnany now has tested positive, the president's spokesperson. She's last I heard, she was doing fine. She got the virus. Some people aren't doing fine. I'm not saying it's not dangerous. I'm not going to say that. Tomorrow's the vice presidential debate, Salt Lake City, and Joy Behar is worried. She is worried because, Vice President Pence hangs around Donald Trump. He's tested negative, by the way, so far, but he's going to be there with Kamala Harris. They'll be separated by plexiglass, apparently. But Joy Reid is worried about the health of Kamala Harris because he was around President Trump at that Amy Coney Barrett introduction last week, and several people have tested positive after that. Also, listen at the end as Whoopi Goldberg gets her dig in about Pence, about his morals, when it comes not being alone with another woman without his wife present. They don't like that. They don't like that a man has morals. They talk about toxic masculinity and how much they hate that. They've got a guy that is anything but toxically masculine, and they excoriate him for his morals. You cannot please the angry left. You cannot please them. They are angry. They are hateful. They like to be enraged. You can't change them. You cannot give up, throw your hands in the air, say to hell with you. Do what you want to do. We're done trying to deal with you. But you're not going to ruin our country. Oh, and by the way, I want you to listen to Joy Behar. When she says Kamala Harris's name, she says, you know what she says, Kamala. Well, how many times have conservatives been raked over the coals for saying Kamala? It's not. CNN was, Mr. President, it's not. It's Kamala. Kamala, the host said, whatever the hell her name was. One of the pretty talking heads there at CNN. It's Kamala, Mr. President. So Joy Reid says Kamala, and I haven't heard anything. She got a pass. How come she gets a pass? Well, because she's on the right side. They don't get enraged at their own side. They only get enraged at anybody who is right of them. So here's Joy Behar yesterday, worried about Kamala Harris.
Well, isn't Pence going to some kind of a rally in Illinois any minute now? And they won't be wearing masks there. I mean, these Republicans are like the typhoid Marys of the 21st century. I don't trust it. And by the way, we debate every day on this show, and none of us touch each other, as far as I can tell. Mm-hmm. So it can be done. Yep. You don't have to be in the same room. So I would say to Kamala, either spray him down, hose him down with some insecticide or whatever they have to use, or else don't go. No, I would not go near Pence right now. He's all over the place.
Well, he's not going to get that close to her because, he can't be in a room with another woman unless his wife is very close by.
You got to get that dig in, Whoopi. Oh, we don't like somebody with moral values who cares about optics, who loves his wife. No, we've got to make sure to get our digs in, don't we, Whoopi? So Trump has toxic masculinity, and he is criticized, and Michael Pence has high moral values, loves his wife, and he is criticized for that. Is nothing sacred with the left? Is nothing off limits? And here you've got the people, you've got this woman, Rahib or whatever her name was, used to work for Hillary Clinton, was a spokesperson for Hillary Clinton, said about Donald Trump, I hope he dies. Nothing is off limits. They've got all the free speech they want. People wishing for Donald Trump's death. Twitter said they would remove it. And Facebook said they would let it go. They had some parameters. Yeah, Facebook gives so much more leeway if you're on the right side, if you're on the correct side, I should say. If you're on the right side, you're screwed. You're on the left side, you're going to be left alone. Because the social media police are all leftists. Now, if you missed it, I want to go back to this professor. Because we have time, I want to go back to a couple of education pieces I did earlier. Because these are very important. Yesterday, I had the story about the Central Maine woman who had written a post on Facebook about her daughter's school. Her daughter's class, it was live class, it was in school. The class was asked, after they were asked, they watched some of the presidential debate. Which, okay, you know, civics class, you've got to know these things. Get them engaged early. I love it. Let's do it. Let's watch a little of the debate. Then she asked the kids, who do you side with? Who do you think won the debate? Or whatever the verbiage was. Anyhow, long story short, all the kids apparently, allegedly said Donald Trump. At which point, rather than say, you know, as a curious person, as an interviewer, as a professional, my first instinct when somebody says they like Trump or they hate Trump, and I've done this with people when they say I don't like Trump, my first instinct as a professional is, okay, why? Tell me why you don't like Trump. In this case, it would have been going to the kids. So why do you, and that would have been, how cool would that have been? The teacher might have gotten some learning. Why do you like Donald Trump? What do you think is good about Donald Trump? But no, instead, she shut him down right there and started preaching about why Joe Biden was better. That teacher should be fired or willingly quit her job and go do a job she is qualified to do. It ain't teaching, not with that kind of an attitude. And not to throw all teachers under the bus, because most teachers I know are very good people and good instructors. But there are some out there in our midst, in our area, who are not. This one took the cake. This is the universe. Well, no, I've actually got a couple here that take the proverbial cake. So, hold on, I've just got to get this up here. Hang on. We're almost there. Is that the one? No, that's not it. Okay, no, I've got the wrong one here. Hold on. No, don't be leaving me here now. Okay, here it is. University of Massachusetts. This is a liberal arts professor. Her name is Esther Shapiro. She's unhinged. So Professor Shapiro attacked President Trump during a lecture because this is what so many in the public colleges do. So she's attacking President Trump. A student named Mary, this was a virtual class, happened just a couple of weeks ago. Mary disagreed with her on something. She disagreed with an outrageous smear of calling Donald Trump a Nazi. Hello? A Nazi. Please. Check your privilege, Professor. How do you like it? Check your privilege. So this student disagreed, and the professor came unglued. Okay, here's some of what Mary recorded from the online Zoom class. I've got a picture of the professor. She looks the part, too. Look at the picture. I hate to profile people by how they look, but look at her picture on my Facebook page and tell me you can't read her like a book just by looking at her picture. So here is Shapiro hurling accusations at Republicans and Donald Trump specifically, presenting the opinions as fact. She talked about an event she attended at Brandeis University, which is in Waltham, Mass., regarding the Holocaust. And here's how it went. It's a couple of minutes long. It's worth every second.
This was an event to speak to what do we need to know about our histories. And all of us there, the writers, the discussants, the scholars, the survivors, we thought this would never happen again. We thought we were never going to see fascism of the Nazi Germany sort ever again. We now have children on the border in cages. We have the criminalization of immigrants. We have a criminal who's a president and who's going down in flames. Don't think he's not. We have the Republican militias with armbands preparing to go to the polling booths. They are preparing for election suppression, for voter suppression. The minute a Republican majority had appointed most of the judges, they removed, I can't look at the chats. I have cognitive processing issues. The minute the Supreme Court was challenged to say, do we still have voter suppression in the United States? They said no with no evidence. And we now have the problem of having to go county by county, state by state, to address the manipulation of the vote. The only Republican strategy right now. And look, I didn't used to say Republican Democrat, but now that we have Nazis, we got to do it.
I don't think Donald Trump's a Nazi.
Okay, all right, great, Mary. This is not the debate I'd like to have. You asked me a question.
Right.
And let's have this offline, okay? I've got to be done with Mary.
No, but
I'm very glad to share the resources I have to understand.
Shut her right down. Shut down,
All right,
Mary.
so maybe he's not a Nazi. Maybe he's just a fraud and a criminal.
Oh.
Can I just say something, please? It's about the children at the border. Are you aware of how many children are trafficked into this country?
Oh, Mary.
Oh, Mary.
Of course I am.
Because I think that's a really big human rights issue that no one speaks about.
And so, Mary, you would like us to talk about trafficked children? All right. Let's do it some other time.
Let's do it some other time. Right now, you're gonna let me demean the president, excoriate the president and Republicans because they all suck. They all suck, students. Do you hear me? They all suck. Republicans are horrible. They're human rights violators. They hate America. I'm the professor. Mary, you shut up. You don't have a voice in this. Even though your parents are paying $60,000 or $70,000 a year for you to be here, you be quiet and you listen to me. Welcome to American College. I would leave that college lickety-split. We are out of time. I was gonna do. We had a 10-year-old kid also who was kicked out. I'll briefly tell you the story. Friday, after Donald Trump was diagnosed with coronavirus, this teacher in Tacoma, Washington, named Brendan Stanton, he's a middle school teacher, and he asked a question of the kids. He asked the kids, 10-year-olds, a question: who is the person you admire and why? So this 10-year-old boy said, I admire Donald Trump because he's making America great again and because he is the best president the United States of America could ever have, the kid says. Well, that the teacher could not tolerate that. So the teacher shut him down. And he went on to tell the rest of the students how full of hate Donald Trump is. He hates. All he does is spreads hate. And we're going to end this right here. And so the mother called the school, and guess what? He denied it ever happened. So who are you going to believe? A bunch of 10-year-olds? Or are you going to believe me, a teacher? But the mother did all mothers and fathers should do as their kids are being homeschooled. She taped it with her phone. And the whole situation took a different direction. Because once you have proof, you have got power. And with distance learning, it's easy enough to get the proof. If you care to take the time, take the time. You'll be glad you did if something happens. 12 o'clock, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9. Mike Violet here tomorrow morning at 6. Have a great afternoon. I'm John James.
1160 WSKW.
I want to tell you about the incredible items you'll find at Townline Antiques, but there's no match for seeing them in person and reliving those wonderful memories for yourself. Shop through their great selection of furniture, artwork, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, books, glassware, home decor, and so much more. Take home a little something to decorate a room with style. Add to your collection or share wonderful memories of your past with family and friends. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust, and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. The president at the time